everyone, it's Pete here. So today I'm going to carry on building this, the Tamiya Wild Willy 2 kit. So last time I got to the end of step 10, which meant that I had the two ends, the chassis, the gearbox end and the steering end here. So step 11 is to do with getting together these friction dampers here. Now these are a bit better than some of the ones you get in Tamiya kits where there's no damping at all. And how they work, you've got a bit of rubber tube there with some grease in that provides a little bit of damping with the shaft going in there. Now these probably work pretty well on this kit, but what I don't like about these friction dampers is that the dust can get inside and then it sort of clogs up with the grease inside the tube there and they get a bit sticky. So what I've done is to get this Hop Up 53619 mini shock set. Now these don't come with springs, you can use the kit springs with these, but I found these on the GF01 dump truck to be too bouncy really. So what I've done is get these softer springs to use with these. So what I'm going to do is make up one of these friction dampers just so I can check the size and then I can make the oil damper the same size. So this screws the shock shaft that goes in the C2 part there. You need something to grab that with so you can screw the end on, which is the C12. They're showing you 20mm between those, which it is now. So we need a 12mm length of this rubber tube. Just give it a little bit of grease in the tube. Goes in there. And top C1. 10mm self tapper. Yes, I can feel there is a bit of damping effect there with that rubber tube. So the spring goes on. And this end bit C9. A bit loose on there. They give you these spacer clips on the F tree. So I think it's about 64 between the holes there, so I remember that when I'm making up the mini shocks. Right, I won't cover this in huge detail because this isn't actually part of the kit. You can find various videos on YouTube about Tamiya CVA shocks and how to build them up. Now what I've done is to build one off camera to find out how to get the correct size to make it the same as the one from the kits. So this bit is standard with the W3, the W1 and the O-rings. I've used the piston end with the one hole. What I found when I used these on the GF01 was to use the long end there because that keeps that clear of the suspension better. And then inside you need this V3 spacer to end up with the correct length. So I'll just quickly build another one up. What I did find before is I think the soft oil is too soft. It needs more of a medium oil, which is 600 CST, or I could use 800, which is what, it's about a 50 weight maybe. Right, so that's all those done. So I've put 800 CST oil in the back and 600 in the front. Might be a bit of fine tuning once I get them on the car, but at the end of the day it is a Wild Willy, it's not a finely tuned racing machine. So step 12, we're attaching the dampers or shocks, and if you're using the standard ones then you get these step screws, and because I'm using these oil dampers they come with these ball connectors, so I'm going to be using those. You can use these step screws but the ball connectors rattle about less. Also in this step they're adding the spacers to the dampers. It's the thicker F10 ones at the back and the thinner F11 ones at the front. So as I've been doing before, I'm going to put a bit of super glue on the threads so these don't shake loose, and I would do that also with the step screws if you're using them, and also I would add washers like before if you've got some. Be aware this is softer plastic, so don't get mad with tightening this up. Found it quite awkward to use the pliers to clip on these bottom joints, so I've just been pushing them on with my fingers, which seems to work. For step 13, we finally get the front and the back of the chassis together, and it's all with these 10mm self-tapping screws. So these holes locate onto these parts of the gearbox. So looking good, suspension feels really nice. 14, they're putting in the ESC. I'm going to wait till the end when I've done the body just to make sure I've got the right position for that and the receiver. And also they're putting on this sidebar part and 2 of the body posts. So the sidebar goes on that way and this body post goes on the inside there. That's the C8. And it screws in from this side. Right, so this goes on like this. These longer 15mm self-tappers. So this straight body post, the C20 goes on the outside of the bar there. So step 15 is very similar to 14, so you're putting the sidebar on, there's this little aerial holder. Again, I'm going to leave the electronics until I've seen how the body sits on this to work out the best position for them. Now, one thing with having this brushless motor with the wires poking directly upwards because of this sort of block here, it leaves it too tight under that bar for that to go on. I did get away with it on the GFO one somehow, just by sort of squashing the wires down, but what I'm going to do is just cut a little bit out the bottom of the bar there just to allow those to go through more easily. Now I could sort of turn the motor onto one of the other positions so that the wires are going more that way, but I think it's good if they're up, and then once that's on they'll be nice and hidden. So step 16 is putting on the back wheels, so they're the ones with the hexes in the back. And you just need your little hexes there, E1, little 10mm shaft wheel nuts. I'm putting in metal bearings. So they're putting the snap pins in the body posts to rest the body onto. I'll wait till I've done the body so I can get the correct height for those. Before I do that step, I'm just going to glue these tyres onto the wheels because there's a chance they might peel off in use, or the wheel can spin round inside the tyre. So it's just a matter of peeling back the tyre, squirting a bit of super glue in and going all the way around. What I tend to do is let the one side dry before I do the other side. It saves getting wet glue on your hands. Okay, so the bearing goes in there. The little 10mm bar goes through there, and the hex goes on there. So this is the back of the truck, the treads go that way, so that's the wheel for that side. So step 17, we're putting the front wheels on. I have glued these tyres on as well, and we're putting on the front bumper. There's a choice of a little one or a big one. I'm going for the little bumper, and I'm going to use ball bearings again. Make sure these go on the right side so the tread's pointing forward like at the back. Step 18 is putting the battery holder on with a couple of these snap pins, and also doing the aerial tube, which I'll do at the end. Check it out then. So apart from the ESC and receiver, that is done. Quite impressed with the shocks. Okay, so step 19 and onwards, all to do is putting the driver together and the car body together, and there's absolutely loads of things to paint on this, which is going to take ages. So what I'm going to do is leave this video here. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.